Good morning. Yay. Yay is right. We're in a new month, right? Oh my gosh, lots of stuff happening all at the same time. Welcome to a new month, February, and a new theme. We're talking about all the colors of love. Isn't that just delightful? I love that. What a great theme. Remember, we're aligned with the Science Mind magazine, so if you don't have a subscription to them, we have them in the bookstore, so make sure you pick a copy up. And Peter Boland has an article in this one, so make sure we got extra copies, so you can pick up an extra. Yep. Peter Boland has an article in this month's Science Mind magazine, so don't miss it. So the theme, all the colors of love, just reminded me of just like all the colors of life, everything that there is. And so today's talk is crawling, walking, swimming, and flying. Just sort of all there is, right? All the modes of locomotion that anything living on the planet is doing. All the different types of movement of life on the planet. No, I didn't add like bending and swaying. Plants and trees do that. I should have probably put in bending and swaying and waving, right? Plants and trees do that. They wave too. It wouldn't fit in the bulletin. Yeah. Okay, so, plants and trees, they wave, they bend, they sway. Everything moves to its good. That's what Emma Curtis Hopkins said. All things move to its good. Plants will turn toward the sun. The earthworm that crawls in the dirt, Emma said, crawls toward its good. Everything moves toward its good. So growing should have been on that list too. Swaying, bending, waving, growing. The list just keeps getting longer. So everything alive grows, right? Everything alive grows. There is birth and growth, and aging, and maturity, and decline, and death, and rebirth, and growth, and aging, and maturity, and on and on and on it goes. And we all do it. We all do it. Someone said, well, many people said. It's an old quote, and I don't even know who said it, but somebody said, life is a sexually transmitted disease for which there is no known cure, and it is always fatal. That's what it is. And that quote is a compilation of about a dozen different people who added it and changed it along the years, so if you look it up, you'll find everybody said it. So now I said it. But if you're looking at life on the planet, you will find, from our philosophy, that behind all of the diversity of life is just the one beginning, the one source, the one energy. Energy is all there is. There is nothing else happening in the entire universe but energy. In form, out of form, whatever, vibrating. It is just energy. And so what Ernest Holmes said was that the Creator created everything out of itself, never being absorbed by its creations because the creative source is infinite, right? So it can't be absorbed. It can't be diminished or run out of source because it is infinite. So it creates everything from itself, never being diminished or absorbed by its creations because it is infinite source. And so if you look at it's hard to see, but if you look at the graphic behind me, you will notice at the center of all life, this is a chart of just the infinite diversity of life on the planet, but you'll notice in the center is the word Luca. Now, if it were written by a religious scientist, of course, in the center it would say spirit, right? Because that would be the source and supply of all. But there, because it's a scientific chart, is the word Luca, which stands for Last Universal Common Ancestor. Okay? Last Universal Common Ancestor. So everything on Earth, all life, have evolved from that common ancestor. Everything. And everything on Earth inherited that genetic code, Luca's genetic code, for basic biological functions such as translating DNA, creating messenger RNA, replicating itself, creating proteins, everything. Everything stems from that one source. And we would just call it spirit. Those constant genetic mutations that have shuffled and altered this inheritance added new genetic material, but it's the process that created the diversity of life that we know today. 8.7 million different species on Earth. That is huge. That's a lot of diversity for one, right? That is a lot of diversity for the one to incarnate itself as. And Ernest Holmes said this in the textbook. So God gave man dominion. He meant human, right? We know how to interpret Ernest Holmes by now. It was old writing, and in those days, the male pronoun was just used as a standard. Anyway, he said, so God gave man dominion over all earthly things. Man was not given power to govern the universe, but he was given power to have dominion. So then we have to just figure out what that means, really, for us, to have dominion, to take care of, to be responsible for, to govern. It does not mean to destroy or eliminate or cause harm to, right, or have our way with. It means to be responsible for it, to take care of it. It's ours to care for. And so if you think of all life flowing from one, and we said it's spirit in the center, if we think of all life flowing from one origin, one source, we are all interconnected, are we not? Not only with each other, but with all life everywhere. With all life everywhere. Hell, excuse me. We share 99% of our DNA with chimpanzees. Okay? We are all interconnected. We share 50% of our genes with the banana that the chimpanzee eats. Okay? It is all about sequencing, folks. It's all about sequencing. Maybe only 1% of the DNA is alike, but 50% of the genes are identical. Okay? Goes back to Luca again. It goes back to the inheritance, the common ancestor. Everything springs from the one. Everything. Ernest Holmes said, from one come many. All come from the one, and all live in and by the one. From unity comes multiplicity, but multiplicity does not contradict unity. It's like the soil. We grow many plants from one soil, but the unity of the soil is never disturbed. So it is with the one mind. Working through the creative medium of the universe produces many different things. Right? And this is the way we are, and this is why we are. And this is why everything is interconnected with everything else. There are limitless things in the universe because spirit is limitless. It can just keep creating and creating and creating new and different forms, but they're all one. Behind the diversity, behind the uniqueness, we are all one. And wouldn't that be handy to remember when we are being pitted one against the other by the color of our skin, or by our income level, or by our health status, or by our gender identification, or by our sex, or by our age? Wouldn't it be handy to remember that we are indeed all one with each other? We are all one with each other. I think so. I think it would be very handy that we remember that we are all one all the time. Who was it? Oh, gosh. Was asked, Ramana Maharshi was asked, how do we treat others? And his answer were, there are no others. There are no others. There's only us. We're the one. We are all the colors of the one, all the shapes and the sizes, all the incarnation of the one. There's just one of us. There's only one of us in this room. It's only God. Just spirit happening. It's just spirit happening individually as us. Last month I spoke just briefly about this idea of panpsychism, the idea of universal mind, and how it's like finally beginning to catch on in the in the scientific community. Yay! They're finally learning what the mystics have known for thousands of years. Anyway, this handful of scientists, the neuroscientist Christoph Koch, the British physicist Sir Roger Penrose, the physicist Gregory Matloff in the U.S., New York University cognitive scientist David Chalmers, they are all warming to this idea of this universal mind. This panpsychism, that there is one universal intelligence behind everything. Gee, where have we heard that before? Right? There is one mind behind everything. There is one life, like Ernest Holmes said, there is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is our life right now. And so our spiritual practice then is to recognize that. Everywhere, with everyone, with everything, with all life, all humans are my brothers and sisters, yes? All humans. Not just the ones who look like me, not just the ones who speak my language, not just the ones that love the way I do or think the way I do, but all humans are my brothers and sisters. And then beyond that, all life. All life. We're related. We're all related. I mean, think, even the grass that we walk on is a carbon-based life form. That's all we are. What did they say, make sure you get plenty of rest and plenty of sunshine and drink plenty of water, because really all we are houseplants with emotions. We all need the same stuff. We all need the same stuff. And that's what our faith philosophy is based on. One life, God's life, perfect life, my life now. All animals, right? All animals are our kin. Good grief, because we're all carbon-based life forms. Even the creepy crawly ones people don't really care for. Remember when I brought my snake in? People were like, if you were going to bolt, just don't, When that day I brought the snake in, it's just another life form. It's just God showing up as a snake, We must tread lightly on the planet because all life forms are worthy. All life forms are revered. All life forms are some life of God, out picturing in a small or a great way. In a small or a great way. The nanobe, have you been reading about that? The nanobe is a tiny filamental organism that kind of clings to plants and rocks and some sediments. And scientists have hypothesized that these nanobes are probably the smallest living thing on Earth. They are only about 1/10 the size of the smallest bacteria. Teensy, teensy, tiny little things. Smallest life form, right? And then there's the blue whale. The blue whale, the largest animal that has ever been on the planet. Even bigger than the dinosaurs. The blue whale, the largest life form on the planet. Usually coming in at about 100 or 110 feet long. It's like a third of a football field, okay? Because I know you're going to watch later. So think about it. A third of a football field. That's what a blue whale, 100 to 110 feet long. Weighing in at approximately 440,000 pounds. Yeah, right? I mean, just huge. Its heart is about 5 feet tall. Its heart is about 5 feet tall, 4 feet wide. I'm not. And weighs about 400 pounds. And its heartbeat can be detected 2 miles away. Right? That's the greatest thing. And we're one with that too. We're one with that as well. All life on the planet, all life. And since we have been given dominion from the smallest to the largest, it's up to us to take care of all of it. And how we doing? How we doing? As we awaken and we realize how precious things are, what a great balance. Spirit took care of all of that. There is a balance. When we awaken and we realize, oh yeah, we're supposed to take care of it, from the tiniest to the largest, we must tread lightly. We must tread lightly. And every day we kill life. Every day. You can't help it. You can't not kill life every day. Life kills life. That's it. Look, you cannot get up in the morning and walk across the carpet to the bathroom without wiping out millions of dust mites. You just can't. You just can't. Do you brush your teeth in the morning? Millions of bacteria you've just wiped out, entire colonies, entire life forms. You're not going to stop brushing your teeth, right? It's just the way it is. You're going to wipe out millions and millions of bacteria every day. Every day. So being awake doesn't necessarily mean we stop killing things. We're still going to do what we do. Life consumes life. We swat mosquitoes, don't we? Anybody? When it's like, just sit there and let them drink. No. We spot mosquitoes. We shoo flies. We set mouse traps. Ew. I don't, but it's gross. Anyway, but what we do is we gently trap spiders in the glass, don't you? Trap spiders in the glass, put the little cardboard under them, and walk them outside. That's what my dad always used to do. I learned that from him. Walk them outside, let them go. I have a lovely little brown widow spider that's living in my mailbox. I go in very gently now because I know she lives in the back. And I put my hand in one day and I was like, oh, web. I hate that. Anyway, but I tread lightly because she lives in there. It's like she found a home. Great. She decorated the inside of it. It's wonderful. A little chandelier hanging. We have to be awake. We have to be awake. We're cohabitating. Being awake and aware of our actions toward each other, right? Human to human, heart to heart. Being awake and aware of actions toward other species is the beginning of really, truly caring for, really, truly having dominion, right? Over the life of the planet. Research in psychology and criminology shows people who commit acts of cruelty to animals don't stop there. They are the ones who move on to their fellow humans. Robert Ressler developed profiles for serial killers in the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and he said this. He said, murderers very often start out killing and torturing animals as kids. So respect for all life starts right there. It starts from the weakest, from the smallest, for the most vulnerable among life. That's where the dominion comes from, in. For us to take care of those who cannot care for themselves. From the tiniest little life forms all the way up. Like the medical vow, primum non nocere. Primum non nocere, right? First, do no harm. First, do no harm. First, learn to peacefully cohabitate, right? With other people. That would be good. First, do that. And then with other animals, other life forms. We have been forever declaring among the animal kingdom what's conscious and what's not. We've been making that up, right? I mean, for years, we thought animals were not conscious. Didn't feel pain, couldn't experience grief or loss or mourn the death of other animals in their group. And then what do we find out? We find out, yes, they do. They have incredible structures. They have wonderful cultures, and they have tribes and families. Now we know that animals have those same types of feelings of loss and grief that we have. But now we believe that only animals with developed central nervous systems can experience those things, right? Well, we were wrong before. Maybe we're wrong about that too. I don't know. But you have to decide for yourself where your line is drawn. Where is your line drawn? What are you willing to kill, wipe out? Well, bacteria, okay. Because we might be wrong about a lot of things about life on Earth. And so whatever you decide for yourself, wherever you draw that line for yourself, do it consciously. Do it awake, do it aware, acknowledge and honor all of life. And this is not a talk about becoming vegan, although it's an option, It's an option, you can do it. My daughter just celebrated 5 years vegan, and so she's teaching me how to cook things differently than I've ever done before. But there's Meatless Mondays. There's all kinds of ways. Michael Pollan wrote the book, now it just went out of my mind. The Omnivore's Dilemma. And he said what? He said, eat enough, not so much, mainly plants. Now, he eats meat as well. But it's about being awake. Do you see the difference? It's about being awake and aware. Choose wisely. Choose wisely how you tread on the earth. Take care of it. Be conscious of the little critters we cohabitate with. Treat them with love and respect. That's God too. That's God too. If we learn all the way up to do that, with this getting along with each other will be a piece of cake, won't it? I want to finish with Rumi because he, of course, says it way better than I can. He said this. He said, I do not want to step so quickly over a beautiful line on God's palm. as I move through the earth's marketplace today. I do not want to touch any object in this world without my eyes testifying to the truth that everything is my beloved. Something has happened to my understanding of existence that now makes my heart always full of wonder and kindness. I do not want to step so quickly over this sacred place on God's body that is right beneath my own foot as I dance with precious life today. Thank you so much.